No one pushes you to assault anyone unless you're defending yourself. If you're not defending yourself, there's no excuse. I don't care how mad or upset or triggered or whatever. It's never that person's fault. That's on you. Sort of like the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock debacle. I don't care what you think is offensive. That doesn't give you the right to slap someone. That's a whole other discussion. I get so angry with what people say about the whole Will Smith slap thing. Because if it was a woman up there, we'd be having a totally different discussion, which I think is so unacceptable. So it's perfectly fine to slap a man, but if we slap a woman, the cops are there, domestic abuse, like feminists from everywhere would be making a bunch of videos. But it's Chris Rock. Oh, he was defending his wife. How courageous! It's disgusting. It just makes me so upset.
Yeah, and one of the points I heard from a lot of women is that. So if you listen to our the black culture as far as hip hop is concerned, and we praise this type of violence, we praise gun violence and sliding on your ops and all these things, but then when we see a slap take place, that's the worst thing we've ever seen in the world. Oh my God, why are men putting their hands on other men? I'm like, listen to the music we consume, and we Chirac and Chicago and Brooklyn, all these different boroughs of violence that might take place in a given location, gangs, what have you, and we glorify that type of violence. But then when we see somebody in person, like they talk about in songs, bro, I'm gonna slap shit out of you, bro. And then when they do it in person, it's all, bro, that violence is I'm like, is violence wrong or isn't? Like, we're in the military. Is violence wrong or isn't it? Like, we're in the air. Like, these aircraft are not innocent. Like, unless you have a cargo plane. We have fighters. What is a F-22's job? Like, what drops the atomic bomb? Something dropped that bomb from 600 feet or whatever it was to kill thousands of people.
Right.
It's violence. Except we pray. Oh, patriotism. National. Oh, I love my country. The troops. What is the job of a Marine? What is the job of infantry? Like, what is the job of special forces? Once we define a word and say this is what violence is, and then all right, what qualifies as violence in our everyday lives? And we realize a lot of it fits. I'm like, well, I guess that violence is different. We're gonna push that out because the context of that violence, we need that type of violence. All right, cool. MMA, nope, that violence is entertainment. We people get paid for that one. We want that type of violence. NASCAR, that's not violence. It's just cars hitting each other and people's lives are changing. All right, so it's not really violence. All right, cool, push that out. We pick and choose what violence we want. And then we justify the ones I like that violence. So a slap on the stage, that's not violence, or that is violence. He was protecting his woman. She shouldn't be running his mouth talking about her hair or lack thereof. That we want that one. But
the law would disagree. Technically, that was assault. Yeah. And if he had pressed charges, he would have succeeded because it was on live TV for millions of people to watch. That was assault. But because he was a man, it's on. I'm sure the reason he didn't press charges too was people would have thought it would make him less of a man to which is unfortunate because if it was a woman, it would have been a whole court case. It would have been televised. It would have been so blown up. And that's another thing too is Will Smith felt so vindicated in himself that it was a man that he could do it. But if it was a woman, he wouldn't have gone up there and slapped her. He definitely wouldn't. But because it was a man, he felt perfectly fine assaulting him because as a man, he bought into these terrible toxic narratives against men, which I think is so tragic. He's perpetuating the very thing that got him to where he is in the first place. It's just sad. And I think women on TikTok that are like, yes, this is how you stand up for your woman. I'm like, it's just so pathetic. How low is your self-esteem that you are perfectly fine with someone? Because granted, he has a lot of privileges as a celebrity. Could you imagine if this was just a normal person? You'd lose your job. You could go to court. If you have children, now you lose custody of your kids. There's some real ramifications to doing things like that as a normal person without the privilege of wealth. So you're willing to put your partner through those sorts of things just to make yourself feel better as a woman because it's pathetic. It's just unbelievable.
I mean, it's ongoing. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. I feel like we still live in a society where if the right person does the wrong thing, we just kind of we look away a little bit. I mean, at some point, if you draw a line in the sand, we're all going to be indicted on something. Like, did you steal time from work? Yes. All right. Well, you're stealing from federal government, federal crime, federal prison. Don't worry about it. U.S. Marshals will come get you. Like, if you start drawing like these heavily, just I don't know where it goes from here.